Afternoon, Energized Colorado small businesses. I am here with the incredible Kanita Snow. My name is Scott Romano. I'm with Energized Colorado, and we're going to be just walking through the basics of getting started with a new website. Kanita and I have worked together on a number of projects, and now she runs her own consulting studio, building out brands and content for businesses. And I'll let her introduce herself on this one.
Hi, everyone. Pleasure to meet you. My name is Kanita Hangsnow, as Scott mentioned, and I run a consulting studio and have been doing this for roughly a year now. It's called Kanita Studio, based out of Inglewood in Colorado. It's a small business that was born during the pandemic. So I definitely know the challenges and also highlights of starting a new business during this time. My background is in marketing and communications. I got my MFA a while back from Columbia University in New York, and have had industry experience working for a large construction firm within higher ed, and now running my own startups and supporting startups. So thanks for having me, Scott.
All right. And the last, I'll mention a little bit about myself here, but the last 2 or 3 years, my good friend and I have been doing web development for small businesses through a company called Cultivo Media. We use a number of services. We go from hard coding, full custom websites to using template builders that are out there. But this is just a space that Kanita and I know really well and have a lot of expertise in actually doing for clients before. And we're just happy to share that with you guys. So I want to start off by kind of digging into first why having a website is so important and the different purposes it can have for different types of business. If you are a consumer facing business, say you're a restaurant or a place for entertainment, anything like that, having a website where you're showcasing your menu or you're collecting reservations or you're linking people out to food delivery services, anything like that, is incredibly valuable. And not only that, but it gives you a web presence that overemphasizes when people search you on Google, when they want to find you on Google Maps, when they want to find access to your business and get on it. It gives you an incredible amount of credibility working with these folks. And even more, even in the B2B space, say you are a consultant, Kanita and I both have websites because it's a digital business card in the 21st century. If we are all in this pandemic and we're going to be doing Zoom calls for the foreseeable future, it's important to have a place of reference, whether it's a portfolio or just the beginning of your sales pipeline and funnel for new clients. It's incredibly valuable. And so I'll pass it over to Kanita.
Yeah, so the first thing I want to mention is if you are just beginning to establish your digital presence online through a website, what I would encourage everyone to do is come up with a site strategy. So take that time to have intentionality behind what you are building and what you want to convey to your audience before you actually start building, whether it's in Squarespace or Wix, and before you start even touching that building aspect. I would say map things out. And what I mean by this is important things for every website is to create a sitemap. And so what is a sitemap? This outlines what are those pages, the core pages of your website. Is there an about page? That might include your team, your history. Is there a products page showcasing all of your various products or services? What else is important? A contact page would probably be important to every website. That's just something I'll put out there. But it depends on how complex of a business you have, and also one important thing to note is I think just simplify. A sitemap will help you simplify everything because you don't want to have 50 pages out there and have your audience navigating all these different pages. And a sitemap will help you better understand for yourself what are your main calls to action. What do you want people to do? Do you want them to purchase a kit that you're selling? Do you want them to schedule a call with you because you're a consultant and you want to have that discovery call to see if there's a project that's a good fit? And then also within that site strategy, think about your design and branding. And hey, like say you don't have a logo yet, that's okay. This could be an opportunity for you to design that logo. This could be a great opportunity for you to think about site colors and why it matters. How do you want people to feel? about your brand, about your business. So these are things that are important to consider as you create that site strategy. And then lastly, in terms of strategy, I would think about your voice. Who are you? Who is your audience? And what is the tone and what are the words that your audience would best connect with? And having that framework before you actually begin building will help you have a website that is directed specifically to your audience and hopefully generate the calls to action that you want to achieve.
Now, here's a little hint I'll throw out there for you guys, because I know Kenita and I both use it, and I use it all the time, is do research before you do any of this. Find the websites that you like. Look at people that are doing what you do or anything similar, and just find out what you really like about their website. The first step in any web development process on our company is that we just start by looking at different websites. We go to either template sites that are out there like Squarespace and just look at the templates they have. We look at competition, we look at anything, and we pull from that to define what our own site strategy is going to be. And that's so vital, especially when it comes to the sitemap. What information are your competitors putting out there that maybe you should consider putting out there? Or do they have too much and you want to have a little bit less? It just gives you that base point to make a lot of these decisions off of that other people are already doing. And if anytime you have a chance to pull from a successful version of this beforehand, absolutely do it. There's a lot to be said for pulling, a menu item from this place and a contact form from this place, and ideas behind some imagery from over here. That's how you can build a website really quickly. Just transitioning us over to domain names. Your company exists. You've got a brand name out there. If you do not already own your domain, I highly recommend trying to buy it. Now, it is unfortunate, but a lot of domain names have been taken, and so you might have to look for different versions of it. Additionally, there is nothing wrong with not having .com at the end. There are a ton of different URL enders out there, .co, .io, anything like that. And there's some back and forth over how that affects your SEO, but I think in many cases, you're going to be just fine. And so find something that really resonates with your company, with your brand identity that you already have, and very likely is the brand that your customers are going to be searching you by. And so if you are Little Man Ice Cream, it comes to mind, littleman.com is a great place to start, but maybe littlemanicecream.com is a better option, or littlemanicecream.co if .com is taken. There's just ways to be flexible here. And so we've got great resources with name.com, which you can access through our portal. You've got Google domains, you've got GoDaddy. And in many cases, the different websites that you can use to build your site will include domain purchases as well.
Yeah, so now let's jump in and talk about what platforms are available and what's the best one for you. There are tons out there. There's Squarespace that many people use. There's Wix. Those two I would say are similar, and they make it really easy and intuitive for a user to use. I think anyone can jump in and use it. There's one we love called Webflow, and Scott and I have both used this, and Webflow is similar to a Wix and Squarespace back-end builder interface, and also front-end, just beautiful designs. But it is more cost-effective in our opinion on a monthly basis. And Scott, what is it, $12 a month?
Yeah, Webflow comes out to about $12 a month, which you'll see as you find either special deals that are out there for Squarespace or Wix or even Webflow. The cost of these programs can be pretty manageable, but it is very unlikely, unfortunately, that you'd be able to find a really solid web platform developer system or hosting for really less than $10 a month. You may benefit from a few short-term sales and coupon codes and anything like that, and we can try and find and share some of those if we can. But running a website is going to cost you a minimum probably about $10 a month. And so at this point, you're more looking at what is in your scope of need, what is the price point that makes the most sense for you. Something like Squarespace can get pretty expensive with additional add-ons and other types of hosting and elements like that. It can start to get pretty costly, and same with really any other system that's out there.
Another platform that many people are familiar with is WordPress. And WordPress, the energizecolorado.com is built on WordPress. WordPress is great if you know that you will have a lot of customization. So my partner, he has a business where he wants the users to be able to navigate products in different ways, in very unique ways. And he has various filtering across multiple pages. I would say like 50 different pages. And so WordPress works really well for him, and he ties it in with WooCommerce. But if you have a product business where you have pretty basic product line of, say, t-shirts, I would say use something like a Shopify, where you can build your website directly on there. Super easy, really builder friendly, really user friendly. And so if you don't have a lot of customization needs, I would say that's the route to go for you.
I'd recommend checking out the MasterCard Digital Doors content, which we'll link in the action guide for this video. But they provide resources on some of the different e-commerce platforms that are out there. And so if you're looking to facilitate sales directly through your website, absolutely visit MasterCard Digital Doors. They'll connect you with Shopify. They'll give you some good advice and input on how to get started. But anytime you have a chance to build a website on a platform that is your sales pipeline, it's a great way to do it, especially if you are going to be doing e-commerce as a part of your business. Now, when we look at, you've built your website, you want to actually see what its impact is. There's some really great straightforward ways to get started. Most of these web platforms that we've talked about have tracking built in, but it can be pretty limited. And so something as free as Google Analytics, I'll say that again, free, you can plug in these pixels, which is the way that it connects Google Analytics to your website. And you can track just a ton of information. Number of users that are active on your site in that moment, the last month, the last 7 days, what pages they go to, when they exit your website, how long they're on there. You can get just a ton of really valuable information that will support any future decisions that you're making about developing your new website. And I would just highly recommend that anybody set up a free Google Analytics account and at minimum get started with that, just as a really great way to inform your future business making decisions about your website and using it as a sales tool.
Yep, and one more thing to add there, just to make sure your site is operating smoothly, I would encourage everyone to build a website after you launch it. Use something like a PageSpeed.com to understand your loading speed and improve the areas that might be slowing your website down. So, for example, maybe your images are gigantic. It'll tell you to compress those images and upload them at a smaller size. So next, let's talk about directing traffic to your site. You know, what do you do after you launch your website? And this is a perfect tie-in. Are you getting the traffic that you want to your site? And can you measure that? You know, have you seen that through your Google Analytics or your platform's analytics software? If you are not, there are ways to direct people to your site. There's Google Ads. Google Ads makes it super easy to target your audience to a specific area, to a specific demographic. And it really just walks you through the ad process, the ad optimization process, step by step. It's really easy. You can set your budget. Say you want to spend $30 a week on ads, you can do that. And that is one great way to direct traffic to your site. Another way is to use social ads, Instagram ads, Facebook advertising. And then there are organic marketing campaigns. You can do email marketing campaigns. And my suggestion there would be to, if you are doing something like an email marketing campaign or social, you're including social links, use something like a bit.ly, bit.ly, to track your links and know what type of traffic you're getting. It's easy and it's free.
I want to add on to what you were saying about the social and Google ads, but these platforms have made it so easy in recent years to get started. And we've got a whole video on it that you can watch as well. But if you log on to Facebook ads, and Facebook does Instagram ads as well, it is so easy to get started. Exactly like Kenita said, you set up a credit card, it will help you predefine audiences. It will define the area that it thinks your business is. It is all still customizable, so you can get into kind of the nitty gritty and better define age groups, location, things like that. But the suggested audiences platforms like Facebook and Google give you now are incredibly strong places to get started. And you can set those budgets down to, I think it's $5 a day is the minimum. And so you've really got that flexibility to build out the pricing structure that works for you, better understand your reach, and hopefully see that turn into new business for your company.
All right, last but not least, we have some tips for you. So the first tip is you don't have to do all of this by yourself. If it feels intimidating or you have questions or you're just not comfortable launching it on your own, that's totally okay. There are resources out there. There are many contractors out there who are available to support you. And there are even platforms that will aggregate potential contractors who would be a good fit for you. One of the ones that we love in a partnership we have is with parkerdewey.com. And what they do is they pair students who are experts in this work and who are learning this work with businesses like yours. And this is perhaps a more affordable option to help you launch your website. So I would encourage you to check that out. That is on this page where this video also lives. And my last piece of advice is do things in phases. Don't wait to perfect your website before going to launch. So for example, energizecolorado.com, we had a phase 1 launch and we're actually moving into a phase 2 launch. For phase 1, we had our core pages built and our most important functionalities built out. And then we also slated some things for phase 2, knowing that that aligned better with the business goals and where we're headed. So with that, good luck. Thanks for watching.